Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening that sucks. Every wrestling fan tunes into a PPV, not PLE, to experience the payoff to the main event. Your biggest show of the month is usually built around the main event. However, sometimes WWE misses the mark here, and these are 10 examples of when WWE missed that mark, and they are not enjoyable. So hopefully you'll enjoy going through these unenjoyable main events in this list with me. I'm Mike from the Wrestling Society Network, and these are WWE's 10 worst pay-per-view main events of all time. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed to all of WSN's social platforms, leave a like on this video, comment down below on some main events that you thought were downright terrible, and make sure you download the WSN app today, available on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV, so you don't miss out on this great wrestling action. Number 10, Randy Orton vs. Jinder Mahal, Battleground 2017. I'd be lying if I said I didn't pop for when the Great Khali came down to help Jinder win the match, and we got to watch Randy Orton blow on his fingers while achingly waiting for the big guy to get down the ramp like he just stuck them in a hot bowl of porridge. I wasn't expecting a 5-star classic, especially out of a 2-cage match, and let's face it, who wanted Jinder as champion at the time anyway? The only real highlights were the Singh brothers taking big bumps, you know, the Singh brothers whom the prison was supposed to be keeping out, but I digress. Number 9, Triple H vs. Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 32. Well, this is always hard to decide. Do I put the main event of a WrestleMania that ended in a double countout, only until it was restored by Dwayne Dwayneson, that at least had the decency to run short, or this gem? The match nobody wanted, a match no one cared about, and a match that went over 30 freaking minutes! WWE did it for this one. They muted the crowd and turned any enthusiasm from earlier in the show into perpetual grumbling. Genuinely, the most interesting thing out of this match was for 5 straight minutes, the fact that Triple H got a bit of confetti stuck to his large bald forehead. Roman Reigns ended up winning the match, and we all cheered, not because he won, but because we finally got to go home. Number 8, The Undertaker vs. The Undertaker, SummerSlam 1994. To recap, Undertaker, an already dead man, died again and floated to Undertaker heaven digitally off of a big screen. Then, Ted DiBiase brought an Undertaker with him to the ring one day with different colored gloves and said, "This is the real one." Then, Paul Bearer traded his tiny urn in for a big boy one and birthed the real Undertaker out of it. In reality, smart Marky Mark in the dark was healing from a legit injury, and creative decided to go with this for some reason. Now, while I'm all for of who's the evil twin storyline, why this was ever the main event of one of your biggest shows of the year, the world may never know. Number 7, Roman Reigns vs. Samoa Joe, Backlash 2018. Roman Reigns vs. Samoa Joe had nothing on the line, 0 stakes, and fresh off Roman being part of a horribly received main event of WrestleMania 34, all while having AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura booked in a no DQ match for the WWE title on the same show. Fans turned on this match, and they turned on it hard, pelting it with chants of boring, chants of beat the traffic, and probably the worst thing of all, actual people getting up and leaving on the arena camera. You know a main event is bad when you can literally see empty seats that weren't empty seconds ago. I mean, Styles and Nakamura kicking each other in the dick to a countout wouldn't have been any better, but, you know, you just couldn't have done that either! Number 6, Undertaker vs. the Dudley Boys, Great American Bash 2004. When I say this is a match that never needed to happen, I absolutely mean this is a match that never needed to happen. In 2004, Undertaker was feuding with the Dudley Boys, who have never been treated as a main event property in WWE and were mostly serving as a proxy for Paul Heyman. The Dead Man worked a handicap match against the team, and in a match that had a stipulation of if The Undertaker didn't win, his longtime associate, and I think father Paul Bearer, would have been buried alive in cement. So you know, murder. Well, the good news is, he won, only for him to flip the switch on Paul Bearer himself, because why not? This may have looked like a heel turn, but WWE instead seemed to recognize the whole angle as pointless and have the Dead Man explain Bearer was a liability and go on to continue his face run shortly thereafter, challenging JBL for the WWE title and leaving this whole mess forgotten, while the Dudley Boys went on to TNA. Probably the best choice for all parties involved. Number 5, The Undertaker vs. Goldberg, Super Showdown 2019. Many factors make up a terrible main event, but nearly killing one of the industry's greatest legends is probably up there. Things started off fairly well, typical finish spamming, but then Goldberg decided to ram his noggin into the ring post, and things got sketchy. Concussed and losing blood fast, the next sequence of events were hard to watch. From botched Tombstone's attempts to a jackhammer that almost landed Taker on his freaking neck, ending with the dead man finally mercifully putting Goldberg away with one of the worst chokeslams of his career. We're talking like Hulk Hogan at Judgment Day 2002 levels of bad. Both men had nothing to prove, and the match should have never happened. Number 4, Diesel vs. Mabel, SummerSlam 1995. SummerSlam in the 90s did just not have a good rep. In a time where Vinnie Mac loved his big, juicy, meaty men, maybe putting an inexperienced big man who was just getting over and a 500-pounder with decent mobility in the main event wasn't the best choice. Maybe it was the fact that he started out with a Men on the Mission, maybe it was the purple pajama ring gear, maybe it was his own inexperience. Regardless, Mabel simply didn't work, and his resulting main event match with Diesel was a dud. To make matters even worse, the match didn't even benefit from the intrigue of a potential title change, as it was abruptly clear that the big guy wasn't going to be getting the strap, almost resulting in someone losing their job after this terrible main event. Number 3, Seth Rollins vs. The Fiend, Hell in a Cell 2019. I still, to this day, have no idea what they were thinking. Put the crappy red lighting and the pile of garbage chairs over here, but when you have a referee stoppage in what is supposed to be the most sadistic structure to pay off a rivalry, which in this case was the first match between the two, so why even have this in the cell? You're undermining the very aura of the match you created. What ensued after was the sound of 10,000 fans chanting refund, restart the match, and AEW. The post-match angle simply insulted the intelligence of its own audience and infuriated both talents in the match. Number 2, The Extreme Elimination Chamber, December to Dismember 2006. WWE decided to do a thing in 2006 by reviving the ECW brand after the success of One Night Stand. But in less than a year, fans went from thrilled to horrified. December to Dismember may represent the end of ECW, the experiment, even though it carried on for a couple more years. McMahon didn't yet believe in Punk as anything but a mid-carder and booked him as such. And Bobby Lashley, well, Lashley had the blue chip prospect written all over him, but the guy wasn't ready to carry the brand as a character nor as a worker. The result was a joyless, largely directionless plunderfest that culminated in a finish no one was particularly happy about. Not a great look for a main event, especially for this one. And number 1, John Cena versus John Laurinaitis, Over the Limit 2012. I don't even know what to say about this match, and really, there isn't much to talk about. Sure, Laurinaitis was a bad guy, but he was a largely heatless one, and rather than fans dying to see Cena pummel him, they were largely indifferent because at that time, the fans were all in on hating Cena to where he was the one that had go-away heat. And while trying to recreate Austin mercilessly beating up Mr. McMahon, you instead got basically a bully Cena beating up a scrawny victim who couldn't defend themselves and try to pass Cena over as the face. This match had no place in the main event, period, and showed how out of touch WWE was during that time period. And that's our list. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this list and what your worst matches at pay-per-views would